I'm asked for question 9 to expand and simplify these two brackets. So I'm going to use FOIL. So my firsts are the 2x times 3x. So I know that 2x times 3x, 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared. My outer, so 2x times minus 4 is minus 8x. Inners, 5 times 3x is 15x. And my lasts, my 5 times my minus 4 is minus 20. And I should always end up, when you're doing these quadratics, not always, but in general, with x squared, with two terms of x, and with a number at the end. Now, when you simplify that, you're going to end up with 6x squared, because there's only one term with x squared. Your minus 8x plus 15x is just going to leave you with positive 7x, so 15 take away 8 is 7, and the minus 20 at the end. And that is your 3 marks. For part B, you are looking to factorise 2x squared plus x minus 3. And what I would do is just highlight so that you remember that after you've done the factorising, you need to solve it as well. So if I've got 2x squared plus x minus 3, there's a few methods that you can use to answer this one. But what I tend to do is use a product and sum grid. So for my product, I multiply the number in front of x squared by the number at the end. So 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. And I'm looking for a number that then adds to give that number in front of x. So at the moment there's no number there, so we know in algebra that means that it's a number 1. So I know I'm looking for numbers that multiply to give minus 6 and add to give 1. What I tend to do is to try each value and see what numbers multiply to give minus 6 and add to give 1. And if I can't work it out in my head, I write them down. So 1 times minus 6. Will 1 add minus 6 give me 1? No. Will minus 6 times 1 gives me minus 6? Will that give me it? No, because I've written the same one. Even we make mistakes. Let's try it again. If I did minus 1 times 6, that gives me minus 6. Does that add to give 1? No. So let's try minus 2 times 3. Minus 2 times 3 gives me minus 6. I think we're in luck. Minus 2 add 3 does give me 1. So what I do now is I split up that middle x value into the two numbers that I've just found. So I'm going to end up with 2x squared. It's going to stay the same. But that middle plus x is going to change into minus 2x and plus 3x. And then I continue with my minus 3 at the end. Now what I do is I split that in half and I factorise either side. So from the first half, the left-hand side, I know there's a 2 common and there's an x common. And that leaves me with inside my bracket x and a minus 1. On the right-hand side, I can see that there's a 3 common to both. And that's again going to be x and minus 1. Now because those two brackets are the same, I know that I've done it correctly. So my final answer, my factorised version of 2x squared plus x minus 3, comes from the two numbers at the front of my brackets, which are 2x plus 3. And then my second bracket is that one that's underlined in blue, the one that's common to both, x minus 1. Now, remembering that I need to solve, that part was important, I got to make that equal to 0. So what I'm looking for is to make each bracket equal to 0. So that means that 2x plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. So I've got two solutions. So from the first bracket, the 2x plus 3, if I take the 3 over by minusing it from both sides, so I've got 2x equals minus 3. So one solution, to get rid of that 2, now I divide both sides by 2. So one solution is minus 3 over 2, and you might say that is minus 1.5 or 1.5. And from the second one, we're just going to add 1 to both sides. So our second solution is x equals 1. So what I'm going to do is just highlight our two solutions there. So we've got x equals 1 and x equals minus 1.5. Now for the last part, it's only worth 1 mark, so nothing too complicated. We've got x plus 5 to the power of 8 over x plus 5 to the power of 2. Now we know that when we divide our powers, we subtract them. So the x plus 5 part is going to stay the same, but the 8 subtracted the 2 with our powers leaves us with a power of 6. So quite straightforward, just remembering that when you minus the powers, when you divide the powers of two expressions that are the same, then you just subtract the powers. So 8 minus the 2 give us 6.